Um, any any speculation on how the trial might turn out? Beyond hoping, any thoughts, any sort of prognostication on how it may result on PFS?
Well, in the last data slide that you showed, where you showed the PFS is 11 months in the second line, 8 months. So these compared historically to sunitinib, and you should never do cross-trial comparisons, but everybody does. I think sunitinib in the phase 3 was PFS is 5.5 or 6 months. I don't know, but certainly not 11 months. So I think everyone's hoping that we're going to see a benefit. Now, I think everyone got a little scared, or has gotten scared with the results from the AVA trial in third-line setting versus Rega, where they stopped the trial because of the results. But I think everyone's hoping that we see a benefit here. Time will tell.
So with kind of the encouraging, phase 1 data that you mentioned here on the screen, but with an abundance of caution, what other than just bad luck, is there anything that could happen in the trial that would potentially cause the difference of ripretinib over sunitinib not to be not only better, but also a significant outcome?
Significantly worse?
Well, I'm sorry. What I meant was what else? What could go wrong in the trial other than just bad luck that the result isn't superior for ripretinib?
I mean, if we look at other trials, and we've had a lot of trials in the sarcoma space where there have been promising results in phase 2 studies, even randomized phase 2s, and when they go to phase 3, they fail.
Yeah.
We know that phase 2s will always overestimate the benefit seen, so we have to allow for or recognize that there will likely be some adjustment to the mean, or some coming back to center, or lower PFSs than what we're seeing in earlier phase studies. Right. If we think about, you may be familiar with the announced study, which looked at olaratumab in doxorubicin versus doxorubicin alone. In the phase 2 study, the overall survival was improved by a year. In the phase 3 study, there was no improvement. In fact, single agent therapy was better than the doublet. So, and we still don't have a good understanding as to why that is. Both phase 2 and the phase 3 were well designed. So as we think about this study, INTRIGUE, in the setting of very encouraging phase 1 data, a positive phase 3 in the fourth line setting, I think everyone, the cards are stacked in our favor, hopefully, but the reality is that we have just time after time after time in other trials, for whatever reason, some unforeseen bias, or something that we can't appreciate. There's just not the benefit seen. It's frustrating, but it's the challenge of doing trials the appropriate way.
Right. So crossover wasn't built into the design of the trial, but it obviously can still happen. But based on the possibility of patients crossing over to get sunitinib or ripretinib after progression, is there much of a possibility of an overall survival advantage in your opinion?
I would be surprised if there were, which is why I think PFS is great for approval, because we wouldn't expect to see an OS benefit, given the fact that almost assuredly the vast majority of patients are going to see both agents in later lines of therapy.
Right. So we just saw the updated objective response rate for ripretinib in fourth line and later. Any expectation of what the response rate should be or could be in this second line population?
It went from 9.5 to 11.8, something like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect it to be higher than